To defy the stupid, to oppose the malicious, is no easy thing. I wrote these words not for dramatic effect, but as a statement of lived truth, one forged through years of intellectual combat, moral conviction, and solitary dissent. I have spent a life defying conventions and denouncing follies, not out of pride, but out of necessity. The world, as I have known it, has always teetered precariously between ignorance and brutality. The courage to resist either, let alone both, is a rare quality, and rarer still when that resistance must be done in isolation. Let me be clear. Stupidity is not merely a lack of intellect. It is the refusal to think critically. It is a slothful comfort in dogma. And malice? That is the willful misuse of intelligence to deceive, to dominate, to destroy. Often, the two walk hand in hand. In my youth, I was fortunate to be born into a family of aristocrats, but I chose not to live within the quiet luxury of unexamined life. I took up the cause of logic, mathematics, and peace. I wrote about set theory and the foundations of arithmetic not merely to build intellectual castles, but because clarity, even in the abstract, is a weapon against confusion and tyranny. And yet, even the most precise logic is no shield against the wrath of the irrational. During the First World War, I was dismissed from my academic post at Trinity College for opposing the war. I was later imprisoned during the age of nuclear folly, not for violence, but for urging peace. Good behavior, the magistrate demanded of me, as if silence in the face of annihilation was virtue. I declined. The impulse to silence dissenters is not new. Tyrants, ideologues, priests, and partisans have always been wary of those who ask inconvenient questions, those who do not toe the line. Inquisitors in Rome and autocrats in Moscow differ only in robes and flags, not in their disdain for the free mind. But let us not deceive ourselves. The peril is not confined to dictators. In democratic societies, too, stupidity is lionized and malice masked as policy. Conformity becomes patriotism. Complexity is reduced to slogans. People become afraid to speak the truth, or worse, to think it. And so I say to you, be prepared to be ignored, isolated, even attacked. You will be called naive, subversive, radical, or simply mad. It does not matter. If your convictions are grounded in reason and compassion, then you must not yield. Do not expect gratitude for your dissent. Expect silence. Expect mockery. Perhaps, if you are lucky, history will remember you kindly. But even if it does not, your resistance was not in vain. In this century, your century, the challenge persists. Social media platforms amplify both stupidity and malice with algorithmic efficiency. Misinformation flows freely, while truth is throttled by cynicism. Tribalism poisons discourse. Fear becomes a political currency. But let me assure you, this is not the time for despair. It is the time for courage, the time to be unreasonable in your reason, to be radical in your clarity, to speak even when your voice trembles, to question even when the answers are unwelcome, to resist even when the odds are dire. You must learn, as I did, that a calm conscience is more valuable than a compliant reputation, that it is better to be jailed for peace than praised for silence, that even in your smallest acts of intellectual honesty, you are contributing to the slow, stubborn evolution of human dignity. The arc of reason is long and often battered, right? But it exists only because individuals have chosen to think when it was dangerous to do so. So I say to you now, study logic not only to argue, but to understand. Nurture compassion not as sentiment, but as principle, and speak, always speak, when you see cruelty disguised as order, or idiocy crowned as virtue. Because freedom is not a gift, it is a habit, it is a rebellion, and most of all, it is a responsibility. And should the time come when you stand alone in a square of silence, facing jeers or judgment, remember this. You may be frightened, you may be uncertain, but so long as you are not silenced, you are still free. Bertrand Russell, channeled for today.